Hello everyone. I recently decided to buy a router, uh, because my TP-Link, the old one, does not feel good anymore. It was okay many years ago, but now I was starting to look for something which has a 5G. Found one router on the AliExpress page, which is MT7621. Is having OpenWrt support, so I bought it. It has some really nice hardware, a dual core chipset. It has 5 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and the main reason why I bought it is basically it has a SATA connection, so you can directly plug the hard drive to the board and not have problems with USB sticks, etc. One thing to notice: this router does not is not just for public audience, because it's not coming in the box. So as you see it's just bare PCB, and that's it. There's some connections. So if you want to put it on the table, that will not look nice. But it does not cost really much, 72 euros, 73. And I thought I'll give it a go. And so it arrived. Here we go. It came in this box, in this squished box, and already opened it. And as you can see, it's just a box with some stuff. Well, it comes with antennas, 4 antennas, which can you see? They're 2.4 and 5 gigahertz antennas, so you don't need to worry about buying them separately. We have in this box a power supply. This comes with a power supply, so don't worry about that either. Let's have a look. Okay, it is 3.5 milliamps, so that's okay. That seemed to be okay, enough juice to power the thing. The cable, it's not too long, but should be enough. And then what else would we have here? Bubble wrap, that's it. And this is the board, probably. It's packed very well, so it had not, don't believe there is a problem with it. Let's see, and the router itself. Okay, so that's what you get in the box. leads for the antennas, obviously. It has a SIM card port. You can add a SIM chip here in this PCI, and then you can run 3G, 4G modem here. Okay, let's do some measurements. So the width of the unit is 16.5 centimeters, and the depth is 11. Let's screw the antennas. Five gig antennas written on the PCB, that on those leads you need to screw the 5 gig antennas. Not sure you noticed, but if you want to add it to the box, the leads will not hold in place because there is no screws. Okay, so let's plug it in. Okay, light come on. That means it's okay for a start. Let's wait a bit. Should start blinking. Oh, here we go. Okay, I connected it to the LAN cable and opened the web interface. So as you can see, it comes from MediaTek. It has barrier breaker 2.7, 500 megs of memory, the RAM. It has the wireless 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, two devices here. And what else do we have here? Let's go to the menu. Let's go to software probably. And then the problem with original firmware that it's already not supported, and you can't get the packages if you want to install something on it. And it works as you see, but if you want to add something additional, you'll be doomed because the sources are not working. So you need to keep in mind that. Later I'll show you how to upgrade it. It has a mount points. This is for connecting your USB and SATA devices. The only thing what I'm missing in the original firmware is the switch option, which shows the switches. The interfaces, Wi-Fi configuration, it comes pre-configured. There is nothing much to show here. 2.4 gig. Now let's go to the OpenWrt site and download the latest firmware for this beast. So go to trunk, then search for RAMIPS, select MT7621, sorry, and then we are looking for ZBT wg3526 firmware. which is current date. They upgrade it every day or every 2 days, so just download it and place it somewhere where it would be easier for you to find when you need it. I'll just create a folder here. Now you have to open the web interface of the OpenWrt and then go to system and then firmware, flash firmware. So what you have to do here, uncheck the keep settings and then select the firmware where you placed it. So let's select that, click open, and then hit the flash firmware button. As simple as that. Okay, do you want to flash loaded? Please checksum. You can verify the checksum, the size, and click on proceed. Now it will take some time, and I'll be fast forwarding this till the firmware upgrade completed. When it's done, you will get the IP address of 192.168.1 something, and the router defaults to 192.168.1.1. I have previously was running on 10.10 IP, and now it's back to this. As you can see, if you open URL, it's not working. However, router is pinging. You can ping the device, but by default trunk does not come with Lucy web page installed. So what you have to do is use PuTTY to connect to the router. So we're logged in. Let's check the version which we are running. Can do is, yeah, and you can see it's bleeding edge. Version, yeah, the same. What's above? So what I'll now do, I'll just change the network settings to use 10.10 address, because I'm having another router which is was running on the same IP as this one, and I don't want to be confuse myself and you guys. So I changed the IP address and then reboot. You can reboot, but it's just, you can just reload the network. Okay, after the IP change, we'll have to reconnect the router with a new IP. and now I plugged in the WAN cable, so it will have the internet connection. And as you can see, let's just ping something, BBC, yeah, co UK, wherever. It has the internet connection, so now I can do a simple update of the packages. Let's check, is it working now? Yep, looks going good. Okay, let's install Lucy then. Okay, Lucy installed, has some errors here. Not sure what they mean. Let's hope it will work. So now let's open the browser and enter this time correct address. And yep, here we go. You have fresh OpenWrt, which is running latest. Just can press login, and here you go. It asks to set the password. I think we just that's what needs to be done in the first place to protect. Okay, so now let's see what we have here. Yeah, the lists like a different model. It's okay. Still have the same RAM, still have. Let's go to software and see, is everything working now? Obviously it works because I installed Lucy, but just for demonstrating you. Yeah, we have 11 megs left in the storage, and if you notice, there's the switch which shows the VLANs and physical ports where you can configure additional things if you like. Okay, it has disabled wirelesses by default, so let's go to wirelesses and add some security to it and enable them. Let's do the same for the other network, for the 5 gig network. Oh, it's 2.4. Yeah, and now we can enable it. Okay guys, another thing I would like to show you, it's how to get back the router if you bricked it. Basically, I was playing with firmware's this configuration, and I can't get into the router. Basically, it's not usable. You can't connect to the SSH. You can't open the page. So what you have to do disconnect the power and find the button next to the plug, and as soon as you put it on, press the button and hold it. And then the router boots into the recovery mode, and then the router the LED will start flashing, and it boots into the recovery mode, and from there you will be able to update the firmware. That's how it will look on the machine. You will get the IP address of 192.168.1.2, and basically you can then open the web page, which page not found error and some Chinese thing. But if you hit on the link, it will actually open this page where all you have to do is press on this big button. If you press on that button, it will prompt you to select a firmware and hit OK on here. I have no idea what that what it says, but it works, so I don't mind that it's in Chinese. So now it's updating the firmware and it will reboot. You can ping the router. Just be patient here, it will take some time, and it will not give you any good notifications probably. At least I don't understand what it's saying. But anyway, the progress bar is working, so I think it's rebooting at the moment. Yeah, the router is up, so that's a good sign. This recovery mode works even if you change the network configuration or deleted something and you can't get it to work. Basically, it has some sort of recovery boot mode, which always boots and lets you to update the firmware. Basically erase everything what you have on it and install OpenWrt again. The other option, obviously, to use the USB to TTL converter and solder the pins in and connect to the router. Now the Lucy works, as you see, because I had an image which has the Lucy installed, so I have successfully recovered from bricked router. Here we go. Okay, so I played with this router for a couple days, and I don't want to bore you with all those tests. And basically I have some screenshots here with performance metrics, which I would like to go through. So let's start with Wi-Fi performance. I have a TP-Link 1043 router, And for this old one, which I'm using, I done the iPerf test from the laptop connecting to the desktop, which is on LAN. And as you can see, I'm getting only about 40 megabits per second maximum speed. So let's see what wireless performance we're getting from the new router on 5 gigahertz. So as you can see, this looks much better with going from desktop basically internally to laptop on the 5 gigs. So it gets like 70-80 megabits per second speed, but that's obviously not realistic. It might be something around 70 or 80 megabits, but it might also be about 200. And as you can see, it depends on the distance and how you position your antennas, but basically 1.5 megabits, it's what you can expect. The tests were done really closely to the router, and I believe that's the best what you can get from it using the wireless. Now the speed test from the speedtest.net shows 91 megabits per second, but that's limited to my ISP, internet service provider, and that's probably the maximum what I can see. So no problems, no problems here. Okay, now the LAN and WAN throughput. So if we see the router performance, which has the gigabit switch, so in this case it was connected two computers to the LAN ports, and just basically testing performance between them. So no routing on the router, nothing, just purely switch mode operation. As you can see, it can achieve like 920 megabits per second. So as you expect from the gigabit switch, that's pretty normal right here. So the real world example, when you want to copy the files from internal LAN to the external let's say WAN port, it copies about I can see I was seeing it around 100 megabits a second copy speed, but then it dropped to 70 megabits per second, and that might be due to my disk not able to handle it. So pretty normal. Okay, I just realized that I don't have the WAN to LAN or LAN to WAN iPerf test for you to show it, but I done it with original firmware, which came with a router, and it was like 160 megabits per second on the iPerf. So with a new firmware, as you can see, it gets a bit higher. It gets even to 700 megabits. This is for purely router. If you see, internal address is 10, external is 192. So basically it gets up to 800 megabits per second when it comes to the routing packets. So you know it's not 100 percent gigabit. You will not be able to get a gigabit unless there is some particular settings you can do in the firmware or some particular configuration that might affect this bandwidth. So yeah, now the biggest challenge was to get the storage. The biggest challenge was not to get it working, but to get the good results from it, and I didn't achieved it yet. So basically, if I tried with installing Samba on the router, then connecting SATA disk. This is Toshiba 7200 RPM. And that's what my results come up. So if you connect this as ext4 partition and format it on the Linux based, the write speed is about 26 megabits to the SATA drive. This is to the hard disk, and the read speed, which is the most disappointing thing, is 14 megabits at maximum. So I'm not sure what's wrong there. What config I'm missing. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but it's just purely config with no tweaking, no nothing. And the same goes for the USB speeds. I had a USB stick plugged into the USB port, and I'm getting exactly the same results with almost the double write speeds than the read speeds. And yeah, I'm not sure. With NTFS, it's obviously gets a little worse, but I'm just thinking that if it can write to the hard drive of 30 megabytes per second, then it must be able to read it more than that. Now, file copy from Samba share. As I see, you can get some up to 22 megs on the same when copying from the hard drive, but it basically has this it basically gets to 14 megabits per second average. So yeah, as I said, not sure what's not working. So I done some testing purely without any Samba, directly reading and writing on the router using SSH from and to hard drive. As you can see here, my calculation. So write 1 gigabit per 18 seconds. As you can see here, it like 57 megabits per second. The hardware can get the write speeds to 557 megabits per second, and the read speeds are even bigger, because same 1 gigabit of data, it can read on 85. So it's definitely some sort of software or some other configuration which needs to be tweaked, so I could get at least more than 14 megabits per second on the reads from SMB. I know that the performance will not be the same, you know, as this what I can see, but come on, it's at least more than 14, more than 30 would be enough for me. So that's my observation with speeds and performance tests of the router. Okay, I think it's a quite long video, and it's time to sum up what we have. One thing what I would advise you to do if you buy this router, buy the SATA extension cable as well, because it's not going to fit very well. SATA hard disk does not fit very well, and the router becomes really large. I'll put a picture here, and as you can see, the hard drive sticks out a bit. So if you buy such cable, then you can relocate the disk somewhere else, and it just costs one euro. I think in the local store it costs about 2. So if you forgot, don't worry about it. Okay, so the price, I don't believe it's really high, considering it has all those features. SATA connector, PCI slot to where you can connect the SIM, the USB ports, gigabit Ethernet, gigabit LAN, 2 cores, everything looks pretty normal. The price for the similar setup Linksys, for example, would be almost double, if not more. So I think it's really good router, and it's able to handle the traffic pretty well. Now, the minus side of things, the performance of the SATA, it really not too good. But if you think of other my previous router, for example, TP-Link 1043, so it has like 1 megabit per second read and write, so it's way better than that. I believe the router is great, and it might increase the performance of the SATA, will increase in upcoming releases, or I need to find the way how to tweak it to perform better. If you know how that can be done, please write a comment below. I will be happy to test it, and if you have any more questions, leave them in the comment section, and thank you for watching.